Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game E-Wing expansion set. Now the E-Wing has been around for a very long time and I would say it's a fan favorite. It's a very cool design, looking much like an X-Wing here in the front fuselage. And then it basically differs in the back, with its engines and 3 laser cannons. Now, this vessel was first seen in the Dark Empire comics, and for the longest time, it was Expanded Universe / Legends. But now, in the Poe Dameron comic number 23, this vessel's in there, so the E-Wing is canon now. And I love that, another Expanded Universe vessel brought into the canon fold, and I hope we get to see more of it in the future. So like I mentioned, this is an expansion set, so besides that awesome model, we get some tokens, dials, and cards, and we'll look at them later. But back to the ship just for a moment. For its size, it's not too big. I would say it's about the size of a Micro Machines, so over 1.5 inches long, which for X-Wing it's pretty cool. And remember, all the small fighters like this one and the A-Wing I reviewed previously are all to scale with each other. The scale is 1 to 270, so that's pretty cool. Once we get to the bigger ships, that's when it starts to get a little wonky. But having them in scale is an awesome quality. So we do have a lot to look at. We're going to look at the tokens and dials, cards, put on a stand, check out that beautiful mold and paint job, compare it, and then we'll be done. So let's get going. Alright, so let's start this dial token roll call. 1 maneuver dial. And to go with that maneuver dial, here is the sheet of all the movements it has. 2 ship tokens, which are double-sided. 1 focus token. 1 evade token. 2 stress tokens. 1 critical hit token. 2 target lock tokens, 3 shield tokens, and finally 6 ID tokens. So now that we're done with the tokens, let's take a look at the cards. So like always when it comes to the cards, I'll read the name. If you would like to pause the video and read the paragraph below, by all means, go right ahead. So let's get started. First card up is Flechette Torpedoes, R7 Astromech, and a neat little fun fact about that Astromech, in the Expanded Universe anyway, the E-Wings were really powerful with their computers, and the R2 units couldn't keep up, so they had to upgrade. So that's pretty neat. R7T1, outmaneuver, and finally, advanced sensors. So that does it for the upgrade cards, so now let's take a look at the ship cards. First card up is Koran Horn, Itan Habet, Black Moon Squadron Pilot, Nave Squadron Pilot, and finally, here we have a reference card, and it teaches you all about the boost function. So that does it for all the upgrade, ship, and reference cards. So now, let's take a look at that stand. Alright, when it comes to the stand, you get 2 cylinder pieces like this. Just peg them like so. Then you're going to want to take that, put it in the base. Then grab your ship, put it on the peg gently. These are fragile. And you're good to go. Alright, looking at this vessel, I have to admit it is a beautiful piece. I never owned an E-Wing before this model. I know they made one for the action fleet, but such a beautiful ship. I could definitely see the X-Wing right here with the fuselage, but beautiful nonetheless. So like always, I'll go over the main points of the ship, and then we'll get a nice close-up view of all those details. So, first things first, we have our nose cone, cockpit right here with the fuselage, 3 laser cannons, we have our winds, wind supports, and all in here, hidden right here would be the Astromech droid. Then in here we have all our shields and every other thing like that. On the bottom we have our engines, proton torpedo launcher, more stuff to help it fly back here. I really don't know all the sections, but I know that in this section here is basically shields, stabilizers, all that stuff. Engine crap. So moving on, just all in all, great looking vessel. Now in the Expanded Universe, when they couldn't use B-Wings or heavy bombers, they would use these bad boys. Heavy hitters, but underpowered. The Tabana gas they used wasn't the real deal, so the lasers didn't really pack, the punch that they intended it to. But all in all, beautiful looking ship. I love the profile here. So enough of me yapping. Let's get a closer look at this beauty. Alright, looking at this bad boy close up, all I could say is, wow. I really do like this ship quite a bit. And I can't believe I was never a fan of it before this. Amazing. For the detail, we have our nose cone, nicely rounded and separated in the front. We have our cockpit. Look at all that detail. Fantastic stuff. Our laser cannon on the top, little glue here, not a problem. All that paneling, nice section back here. For this side, just look at all that paneling. Then we have our workings here with the stabilizer. Pretty cool. For the win, look at all this. Line work, little modules, panels. Awesome job on that. And that's the same for this side for the most part. Just amazing. Alright, looking at the bottom of the ship, we have a couple lines here. Right here, this little indent is the proton torpedo launcher, our stand port. Coming to the back, look at all these paneling and modules. Fantastic stuff. I love these triangles. Again, we have our laser cannons on the side here, and also the wing here. And these engines are magnificent. All these different textures on here. And the neat thing is, if you turn it, they are recessed with the engine in there. So that is sharp. And then also for the back, recessed. Just amazing. Really nicely done. And now for the back, there is some detail in here. Nice little touch. All in all, a fantastically done ship. So now let's check out the paint. Alright, getting to the paint, we have a small handful of colors. The first one up is a nice light gray. And it's a nice color choice. I think it came out pretty good, nice and clean. Now on top of that, we have a nice maroon or red. Right here on the fuselage, on the sides and the wings. It's the same for this side as well. Then we have dark gray and black for the cockpit. So that's pretty good. Nice and clean, too. Excellent. Then we have dark gray for right here next to the stabilizer. Or the wind support, I should say. So that's pretty cool. Now, underneath, we really don't have anything to talk about. But the engines are good, and it's a dark metallic gray. Almost black. But you can see it's nicely done. A little shimmer to that as well. So all in all, that's the main colors. Now just like all of Fantasy Flight Games, Star Wars vehicles, what makes this is the black wash. And you can see it starts right here in the front, and then fills in all these lines. Especially right there, and you can see it back here. Right on these dots in the back of the engine section. Just amazing. And it really brings it to life. And I know I'm a broken record saying it, but it's true. You know, each time I review one of these models, I look at it as if I'm just looking at it the first time. And usually, you know, they blow me away. And Blackwash just fills in everything on here and adds so much. And when I think of the original trilogy, I think of dirt. The Y-Wings, X-Wings, Land Speeders, all of Luke's stuff on Tatooine. And then Mos Eisley. Everything was like dirty. And then you look at the Empire and they're all clean. So, I don't know. Especially the Rebellion stuff. That's all old and filthy and used. But back to the Blackwash. Just amazing down here. Filling in all these lines. Making everything pop. Oh no, a beautiful ship. And a nice addition to the collection. So now that I'm done with the mold and the paint, let's put this bad boy back on a stand and compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. And for a quick size comparison with the X-Wing E-Wing Starfighter, I have it next to the X-Wing A-Wing Starfighter, and these are to scale, so that's sick. And finally, for all you Hot Wheels fans, here we have the brand new Anakin Skywalker Jedi Starfighter. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game E-Wing expansion set. The E-Wing was first seen in the Dark Empire comics and made canon recently in the Poe Dameron comic number 23. And once again, for its length, it's over 1.5 inches long, which is pretty cool. Now the E-Wing, where to start? I was never a fan of it. I hardly knew anything about it. I knew it existed, but now that I actually have a model in hand and did a lot of research, I have a lot of love for this craft. And, you know, I wish I could go back in time and buy the Action Fleet version, because it's just a beautiful ship. Now, enough of me talking about it. Perhaps one day I'll have a lore video on the E-Wing. But until then, why do I like this expansion set? Well, first of all, you get a nice collection of tokens to dial and cards, so that way you can add it to the core set and then you're able to play this bad boy on the playing field. But I will admit, it's nice that FFG gave you a reference card. What I mean by that is, a lot of times a new ship comes out, and it has a new mechanic that the core set doesn't have. So it's nice they give you that little printout card, so that way you know the rules, and if you bring it with you, you could show your friends so they understand how it works. And that's a nice touch. Now, speaking of the vessel, for me, it's the main reason why I bought this ship. It is beautiful. For the size, you're looking at amazing amounts of detail, very intricate stuff, line work, little pieces that hang off, the laser cannons, little recesses, just amazing. And for the paint, mind blown. Very nice work, very clean, no messes or glops that I have seen on here. Just a fantastic job, and that black wash really brings it to life. Now you also get a nice stand. As you saw, it's easy to assemble. It could come apart for storage. It's pretty good, and I like that it's translucent. And for the most part, all the stands are the same throughout the line, and that's important to me. It makes them all unified in a collection. You can go on Amazon, sometimes eBay, and you could get colored versions of the stands. I have personally seen translucent red. Or, if you're an artist, or you're into customization, I'm pretty sure you can actually paint them, or mod the vessels themselves. Now, if you're looking to buy this vessel, I have seen it on Amazon, eBay, hobby shops. I personally got mine at Barnes & Noble, and it costed $14.99. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's a little steep. Which it is. I'm not going to lie. It's expensive. It really is. But what are you paying for? First of all, you get all those tokens, the maneuver dial, cards, so that way you can add it to the core set and play it. 2, you're getting a perfect little model here. Just look at this. That is great. And number 3, all the fighters and small little ships are to scale, which is amazing. So I recommend this ship for anybody who's a fan of the E-Wing, the Expanded Universe, the Rebel Alliance, or New Republic. It is a great looking vessel, and I think it will really stand out in your collection. So that's everything I have to say about this little ship today. If you enjoyed the review, hit that like button, and if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.